Good evening, you're watching News Mongolia on MNB World. I'm your host, Anurgan Batar. And for top stories, 512 more cases, 1,503 people recovered on Wednesday. Democratic Party members stopped their hunger strike. Foreign nationals to receive immigration documents through courier service. And for the news, stay tuned. The Ministry of Health reported that 512 new COVID-19 cases were confirmed nationwide in the past 24 hours and 5 more people have died.
As of today, 512 new cases were confirmed after about 10,000 people got tested nationwide, which brings the total number of COVID-19 cases in Mongolia to 46,448. 1,503 more patients have recovered, 397 patients of whom were being treated at hospitals, and 1,106 people were being treated at home. 5 more people between the ages of 47 to 78 died due to COVID-19 complications within the past 24 hours, and the death toll is now 184. Of today's new cases, all are cases of domestic transmission. 464 cases were confirmed in Ulaanbaatar and 48 were confirmed in the provinces. Among the 4,806 COVID-19 patients being treated at hospitals, 54.7% are showing mild symptoms of illness and 121 are in critical condition. Additionally, 4,917 patients are being treated at home. Health officials encouraged people to strictly follow the precautionary measures and get vaccinated, stating that the risk of getting exposed to COVID-19 in the country is still high and the public should not relax.
Members of the Democratic Party faction have been on a hunger strike in Sukhwati Square for more than a week. Subsequently, a working group consisting of representatives of the Mongolian People's Party and Democratic Party was established in response to the situation. The working group headed by Mukhargil, Member of Parliament and member of the MPP, accepted the proposals of DP faction and members of Parliament agreed to stop the hunger strike.
We remind you that earlier, the Speaker of the Parliament, Zantan Shatar, has visited members who were on the hunger strike at Sukhwati Square and threatened to go on hunger strike himself if the DP faction doesn't stop theirs. The Democratic Party, one of the major political parties in Mongolia, is having some internal struggles. Currently, the party is divided into 2 factions, each claiming the right to be called the DP. The 2 factions have each selected their respective candidates for president. The faction led by Tsogtkiril, a current member of parliament, has nominated Алтангуйг Noro, also a member of parliament, former prime minister and former chairman of the DP, as their presidential candidate. The Democratic Party faction, led by Tolgat, has announced that it will nominate Erden Sotnomzondui, a former member of parliament, as their candidate for the election. However, the General Election Commission refused to register Алтангуйг as a presidential candidate and registered Erden. During the parliamentary elections of 2020, the DP lost to the MPP, and the former chairman of the DP, Erden, was dismissed from his position of party chairman as an act of having to take responsibility for the election's outcome. The situation was aggravated by the decision of the Supreme Court that decided that Erden is the legitimate chairman of the DP. Therefore, the current members of parliament of the DP and candidate Алтангуйг blamed the MPP for foul play. Mukhargil, the leader of the working group, said that the members on strike made specific proposals and that those proposals have been accepted. The working group will inspect and evaluate whether the issue of issuing DP stamp was in accordance with the law and whether some officials of the General Authority for State Registration did their job properly. In addition, the Standing Committee on State Structure will assess whether the General Election Commission is properly implementing the presidential election law. Also, the DP and its members have lodged some complaints with the independent agency against corruption against some government officials. The IAAC shall brief on what action is being taken in this regard. At last, by the order of the Speaker of Parliament, a working group will work on drafting a new version of the law on political parties and submit it to Parliament. Preparations are in place. All parties will participate in the formulation of the draft amendments to the law. After their proposals were accepted, the DP members stopped their hunger strike at Squatter Square.
Now let's take a look at Mongolia's current affairs.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, in partnership with the Stockholm-based International Institute for Democracy and Electoral Assistance, organized the online course Democracy for Diplomats. Initiated by the International Institute for Democracy and Electoral Assistance, this online course for diplomats was an initiative aimed at deepening diplomats' understanding of democracy and improving the ability of diplomatic staff to analyze various data and information. More than 20 diplomats from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs participated in the online course, where researchers from the institute discussed the state of democracy and challenges and opportunities for democracy in key regions of the world.
Mongolia Immigration Agency will start delivering documents of foreign nationals by a courier service. In order to prevent the spread of COVID-19 and to bring government services closer to the public, the Mongolia Immigration Agency has signed a cooperation agreement with KGB Tigbe Courier Service. It is now possible to have your documents such as passport, residence permit, and certificate delivered in Ulaanbaatar at the request of the foreign national or the invitee. Requests to Mongolia Immigration Agency will be reviewed and the document will be delivered to the client within 24 to 36 hours after the decision is made. If refused, the payment will be refunded. With the introduction to the courier service, foreign nationals invitees will save time by not having to come in person to pick up their documents and receive reliable and fast hand-to-hand delivery service.
Now let's take a look at the currency exchange rates provided by Mongol Bank. Budapest will host the Judo World Championships in 2021, which will be a qualifier for the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games and held from 6th through 13th of June. 18 judokas from the Mongolian national team will compete at the competition. Budapest will host the Judo World Championships in 2021, which will be the last qualifier for the Tokyo Olympic Games and will be held from 6th through 13th of June. The IJF now confirmed the championships in the Hungarian capital. Previously, Budapest was awarded to organize the 2022 World Championships and Tashkent were awarded with the 2021 Worlds. Laszlo Toth, the head of the Hungarian Judo Association, announced on the final day on the Grand Slam competition on Sunday that Budapest will host the event starting on June 3, 2021 in Budapest's Pep Laszlo Sports Arena. The Grand Slam competition in Budapest was the first international judo tournament in 8 months. The Hungarian Judo Association will organize the most important qualifying competition for the Tokyo 5 Ring Games. Laszlo Toth announced that the Budapest event will be the standard for the next international competitions, and even the organizers of the Tokyo 2020 Olympics have indicated that they would utilize the Hungarian experience. 388 athletes, 141 women and 247 men from 88 countries will compete in 7 women's and 7 men's weight classes in the biggest pre-Olympic competition. 18 judokas, 9 male and 9 female athletes from the Mongolian national team will participate in 14 weight classes. Baltuatar will be working as the head coach of the national team, while Ihtzitsig, an international judo federation and Olympic judge, will participate as a judge.
IJF President
Now let's take a look at the weather forecast of world's major cities. Well, that's all for today, and thank you for staying with us. We'll see you tomorrow with more news and updates. Have a nice evening. Goodbye.